Hello and welcome to Emerson Exchange Studios. I'm Eric Pogi Sumango, and joining me in studio is John Wilson, Vice President of North America Sales for Final Control at Emerson. Welcome, John.
Eric, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Now, today we're talking about the importance of the main valve partner to project success. Now, John, I know achieving top quartile performance is a hot topic in the industry, but what does it really mean for valves?
Well, while you would think that valves would get the attention they deserve, what you really find sometimes, though, is that they don't get quite the attention they really need compared to things like compressors, pumps. What's funny, though, is that the valves actually protect those pieces of equipment. And what ends up happening is that when they don't get that type of attention, what we end up seeing is that we'll find production losses, operational losses in an operating facility, but then we'll also see challenges when it comes into the engineering and construction of those types of plants because that type of attention isn't paid to those devices. And a lot of reasons for that is that it's complex. There's a lot of different vendors, there's a lot of different valve types, and really it's hard in that regard. But we really think there's opportunities for us to make an improvement there.
Wow, it sounds like valves are really important. Now, given their performance, what has prevented companies from working to address this gap?
Well, I would say it's not that people haven't tried beforehand. It's just it's complex. It's a challenge, and you see multiple vendors trying to do multiple things. And if we take a grassroots refinery, we may see 1,000 pressure relief valves, 3,000 control valves, 30,000 isolation valves, and every time there's a change, every time somebody wants a little bit different look and feel and document, it's hard to address. And some of the other things that we find is that there's a lot of history in the approach and how those types of valves are dealt with, and we'll find inconsistencies in things like welding procedures, inspection test plans, overall processes where really there's an opportunity to bring all of that together. And we really feel with the breadth and capability of our final control offering with Emerson, we've got a way that we can change that for our customers.
So how is Emerson changing the landscape of the main valve partner by addressing customer needs?
Well, the whole main valve partner concept for us is really how do we get in early on, whether or not we're talking about a project or even an operational event, and really be able to help our customers define how do you set those standards, how do you set those processes, do it early on in there to be able to, one, help them get some standardization, but also help a project get funded. We really want to be able to find the right level of opportunity to engage, but we look at big projects. You take an LNG project, it's not unusual to see $200 million worth of valves being purchased, and if we can find the opportunity to drive schedule savings, cost savings of 20 to 30%, we can help that project get funded by setting a lot of those standards. And once we set those standards, then we work with, whether or not we talk about EPCs, process licensors, package vendors, we could be dealing with 30 to 50 different types of firms in the execution of a project, and really that work we do on the front end, how do we drive the standardization to be able to work that through all the way into the execution of the project? And then most importantly, when you start looking at that many units, any type of change, any type of documentation, any type of just execution of the project becomes a challenge. And so really looking at having that single point of accountability from our side, drive the consistency in the documentation, the processes to really get that project to come in on time. And then lastly, you get to a site and you're trying to make sure that you can actually handle all of that equipment on site. It's a lot of things to deal with, and so making sure we have the logistics taken care of, making sure we can actually track all of those assets that are there, and then make sure that once things get on site, it's going to take some work to make sure that everything starts up on time. You're always going to have a few challenges, so making sure that we're there to be able to have that comprehensive handover into the operation aspect of it, and then lay the foundation so when that plant operates for the next 20 to 30 to 40 years, all of that work is done to then be able to set us up for how we're going to handle all of the operational activities overall. And when you really look at all those things combined, it really allows us to be able to bring that valve piece that nobody wants to really talk about, really allows that to come back into the project certainty aspect of everything that we're really trying to drive across our entire automation solutions portfolio.
Wow, fascinating stuff. It sounds like Emerson can really help make sense of this very complex topic in a way that brings big benefits to operations. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us today.
Eric, thanks so much. Appreciate the opportunity.
You can find out more at emerson.com.